So today I want to share 5 queer books that I absolutely loved reading. Hey guys, it's good old Gab and welcome back to my channel. I'm really sorry guys, I know it's been a while. I've just been really busy with my PhD and stuff, but I'm back. So recently I've been doing this thing where I've been reading a lot of books. I don't know why, I feel like my prefrontal cortex has actually finally developed and I've just started to really enjoy reading again. Back when I was younger, I just couldn't focus on any kind of reading long term. I was just really into my visual kind of learning. But over the past couple of months, I've actually really enjoyed delving back into reading, and this has been really fun because now that my prefrontal cortex is finally developed, I have just been reading constantly, like literally everywhere I go, when I'm traveling, when I'm walking, when I'm on the bus, and it's been crazy. Now I'm bringing this up because recently I saw a news article. Wait, I'll show you guys. So this is from The Guardian and it says dozens of UK school librarians have been asked to remove LGBTQ+ books. And it says here that 53% of librarians polled have been asked to remove books. I think LGBTQ+ books are essential. I'm bringing this up because I think that queer representation is really important in media. I know for a fact that if I had that, I would have been a lot more happy coming out. So today I want to share 5 queer books that I absolutely loved reading. These books were an absolute joy to read, and I've read these throughout a couple different years. I have grown as a person while reading these books. This is going to be in no particular order, but I want to start with a really good one that I know a lot of you guys have read already. This one is really basic. I think I was at that age where this book really resonated with me and it really made an impact. This is book number 1, and this is a book that I actually found through TikTok. It was one of the first pieces of queer literature that I read, and it was just such an easy read for me. Thank you so much, Book Talk. I really appreciate you. This book is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. So on September 5th, a little after midnight, Death Cast calls Mateo Torres and Rufus Emeterio to give them some bad news. They're going to die today. Mateo and Rufus are total strangers, but for different reasons, they're both looking to make a new friend on their end day. The good news, there's an app for that. It's called Last Friend, and through it, Rufus and Mateo are about to meet for one last great adventure. To live a lifetime in a single day. I think the title gives it away. They both die at the end, but it was still shocking. It still felt heartfelt. I think this book was a great way to start my queer literature journey. I absolutely love the changes in perspective, and I fell in love with Rufus and Mateo. They were great characters. They had their flaws, and they had this kind of sense of realism to them. I loved how they were both people of color. It was just such a great book that I resonated with. So this book touches on a lot of deeper themes like death and regret. You know what? I want to reread this actually. I feel like back then when I was about 18 or 19, I was a completely different person. So I think now I would really appreciate reading this book again. Amazing. So that is book number 1. So this book hurt me in so many ways, but I absolutely loved it. This book really resonated with me because I grew up very, very religious, and this book was also based on true events as well. As people know, being queer and also being religious can go hand in hand, but of course a lot of people struggle with balancing that. This creates a lot of tension and a lot of internal turmoil that I feel like a lot of people out there have felt, me included. So reading this book, I was hurt. People out there go through the exact same things, if not worse. This is Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit by Jeanette Winterson. And Jeanette is an amazing author. The way she sets the scenes, she's just so clever. This text is just so full of heart. One of the things that I absolutely loved about this book was that the different sections of the book are actually named after the different books in the Bible. So there's Exodus, Numbers, Judges. There's also a little tiny Bible inside there. I think, you know what, Jeanette, this is a great piece of literature. This is a story of Jeanette, adopted and brought up by her mother as one of God's elect. Zealous and passionate, she seems destined for life as a missionary, but then she falls for one of her converts. At 16, Jeanette decides to leave the church, her home, and her family for the young woman she loves. Ah, gosh, if I could, I would reread this again. So this next book I absolutely loved, but I actually wouldn't label this as intentionally queer literature. This is just genuinely a great book overall. It is a book about friendship and love. It is complex and it goes through multiple time shifts, and I just absolutely loved it. This book is called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Sevin. This is a story of Sam and Sadie. It's not about romance, but it is about love. When Sam catches sight of Sadie at a crowded train station one morning, he is catapulted straight back to childhood and the hours they spent immersed in playing games. Their spark is instantly reignited and sets off a creative collaboration that will make them superstars. It is the 90s, and anything is possible. What comes next is a decades-long tale of friendship and rivalry, fame and art, betrayal and tragedy, perfect worlds and imperfect ones. And above all, our need to connect, to be loved, and to love. Now, I say that this isn't intentionally queer literature because it's not. But the thing is, the main character, Sam, is actually bisexual, and this is confirmed by the author. As I was reading this, I did catch on to that as well, and I do think that the other main character, Sadie, is also at least bi-curious. I think this is just a genuinely great read. It has some really good queer representation. There is a queer couple in here, and in the book, they're actually video game designers, so they actually design a section of a game just so that they can get married. I think it was really sweet. I think it was, yeah, just a genuinely good book. This one I am still currently reading, but I absolutely love it. I started reading this yesterday and I am more than halfway through already. It is just wow. This book is such a great book about intersectionality and the complexity of being queer. So I'm Filipino, I come from an immigrant family living here in the UK, and this book, it captures certain things about immigrant families and also just being queer in general that is just chef's kiss. This is On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. This is a letter from a son to a mother who cannot read. Written when the speaker, Little Dog, is in his late 20s, the letter unearths a family history that began before he was born. It tells of Vietnam, and of the lasting impact of war, and of his family's struggle to forge a new future. And it serves a doorway into parts of Little Dog's life his mother has never known. Episodes of bewilderment, fear, and passion, all the while moving closer to an unforgettable revelation. I haven't finished it, so I still don't know how it ends, but I am so looking forward to it. Ocean Vuong is just such a great author. I am just enamored by the poetic nature of this book. There is this one part that I absolutely loved, and I think it just encapsulated this feeling of being an immigrant and being Asian and growing up in Western society. So this scene is about him drinking milk. It is a very Western thing to drink dairy. I just loved it, so I'll just read it to you. I drank so much of that cold milk it grew tasteless on my numbed tongue. Each morning after that, we'd repeat this ritual. The milk poured with a thick white braid. I drink it down, gulping, making sure you could see. Both of us hoping the whiteness vanishing into me would make me more of a yellow boy. Ocean Vuong, you are just, a poet. But this is a great piece of queer literature. And this is the last book. I've been saving this book because this is one of my all-time favorites. It had everything for me. It gripped me. It kept me entertained the whole way. I loved the main characters and their relationships. It was just such a great piece of queer representation in media. This is also really exciting because this was this author's debut novel, and actually when I posted this on Instagram on my story, they replied. And I was fangirling hardcore, so thank you so much. This is called Bellies by Nicola Dinan, and it is just a great piece of queer literature. This story is a story about a couple who meet at university, Tom and Ming. Ming is Southeast Asian, Tom is British. The story follows their romance, the growth of their relationship, and the deterioration as one of them transitions. It just has great gay and lesbian representation. It has a lot of really good trans representation in here as well, and I just absolutely fell in love with the characters. I think for me, one of the reasons why I absolutely loved this book was because it just encapsulated me. It is a Southeast Asian person who is queer, living in the UK, navigating their life and their decisions, and just love in general. It begins as your typical boy meets boy. While out with friends at a university drag night, Tom buys Ming a drink. Confident and witty, a charming young playwright, Ming is the perfect antidote to Tom's awkward energy, and their connection is instant. Tom finds himself deeply and desperately drawn into Ming's orbit, and on the cusp of graduation, he's already mapped out their future together. But shortly after they move to London to start their next chapter, Ming announces her intention to transition. From London to Kuala Lumpur, New York to Cologne, we follow Tom and Ming as they face shifts in their relationships in the wake of Ming's transition, through a spiral of unforeseen crises, some personal, some professional, and some life-altering. Tom and Ming are forced to confront the vastly different shapes their lives have taken since graduating, and each must answer the essential question: is it worth losing a part of yourself to become who you want to be? Thank you, Nicola. This is a great piece of queer literature. So here are 5 books that I absolutely loved. It is an absolute shame that LGBTQ+ books are being removed in libraries. I think one of the reasons why I struggled with coming out was the fact that I didn't have anyone to look up to. Also, I just wasn't exposed to a lot. So having this queer representation is just essential to development and to being more comfortable with who you are. That being said, I do want to read more queer literature. This is not the end. So you guys need to give me recommendations for the next queer books that I need to read. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, rate, and subscribe. And I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day. Alright, bye guys!